Idology is happy to welcome Colton Dixon to the house today. I thought you were one of the smartest contestants we've seen in many a year. You mixed up tempo, you flipped some songs on their head, you did other songs straightforward. You did songs by men, you did songs by women, lyrical content mixed up. You weren't afraid to say like, yeah, I care what I look like and what I'm gonna wear on stage. You even knew how to look at the camera. How much of an Idol PhD did you have going into this?
I've watched since season 1. Okay. There's not a formula to win American Idol. Obviously, I haven't figured it out. But I have noticed what works and what doesn't. Looking at the camera, something happens when I look at the camera. I don't know what it is. People tell me all the time, like Skylar Laine, it kills her. She's like, oh, here you go, giving the look at the camera. There's a few more votes. Like, it's just, I look toward the red light. That's all it is while I'm performing. When it comes to the songs or whatever, that was my strong point on the show.
Yeah.
There are several contestants still left that can out-sing me, hands down. I have an okay voice, but that's not what I was going for. American Idol is more about the whole package than just the best singer, I believe. Right. So I tried to think outside the box on songs. With Decode Paramore, I dropped the tempo back a little bit, brought it down in the beginning, and it was a female song.
Picking something that's by a female singer, immediately you've already put your own stamp on it in a way. I don't know why more people don't do that.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. It seems like the easiest, smartest choice for me. Yeah.
That week, I thought it was an interesting choice for you, the Paramore song, because it sort of said, like, Colton is going to rock out a little more. He's not just going to be sensitive guy behind the piano.
I'm not straight up rock. I'm more of a hybrid between pop and rock, and that sensitive side and the really edgy side, which hopefully I think a future album will reflect that.
Top 11 week, you picked Broken Heart. Was there a collective gasp backstage from people being like, don't pick that? Nobody knows that song. I'd never heard that song before, like ever.
I hadn't either.
You hadn't?
No, it was songs from our birth year. In 1991, you've got Play That Funky Music and Let's Talk About Sex.
Right.
So it's like, well,
as much as we love Salt and Pepper, it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, that's not really my wheelhouse. So I started looking. I looked at rock songs from '91, and I was like, okay. And White Line popped up. I was like, oh, okay, maybe. And I really liked the melody to that song. There were a couple of producers who were iffy on it, but Jennifer and Randy understood that if you can deliver a song like it's yours, it doesn't matter if the audience knows it or not. They're going to be on their feet and they're gonna love it.
Top 10 week, you did Piano Man. Probably one of your big moments on the show. Was that a week you thought you might get a standing O? Because it's kind of the season of standing O's. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, Joshua Ledette's has stolen them all. I thought too much about getting a standing ovation. I thought that could have been the moment. I was last. They had the red piano, the lights were around it.
Alien lights.
It was so cool.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight.
Looking back on it, I shouldn't have been disappointed that I didn't get one.
Yeah.
Just because I was invested in the song. I loved my rendition and I had fun with it, you know? So that's satisfaction enough.
I guess if it's like you're in 3rd grade and everyone gets a piece of candy from the teacher,
you want
and you're the only one who didn't get one, it's sort of like, what do I gotta do?
Yeah. It felt that way sometimes, but I shouldn't have thought too much about it.
Top 9 week, personal idols, you picked Lifehouse's Everything.
This song is my favorite worship song of all time. I'm gonna start crying.
There were some comments, at least on our message boards on our site, there he goes, he's shoving his Christianity down our throat and it's too much. And I thought there wasn't a lot of talk about that on the stage. Did you kind of feel like this was important to you to be able to bring this up and being able to say it, not just on Twitter to your core fan base, but to talk about it with the larger Idol audience?
What I personally don't like about contestants on the show is when they give a certain vibe on the show and when they make an album it's completely different.
Yeah.
I hate that. And a lot of the time those are the artists who unfortunately are unsuccessful off the show. So I wanted to make it loud and clear who I was. And that song is a slower song, definitely, and more tender moment, but that's who I am.
How could it be any better than this?
Did you struggle at all with the thought of, in terms of your religion, like how much to talk about it, how early to talk about it, how to talk about it?
I never struggled when to talk about faith, when not to. Again, that's a part of who I am. If you don't like it, don't vote. That's my opinion on that.
Let's talk about Love the Way You Lie. To me, that was probably my favorite moment of yours on the show.
Cool.
That's all right because I love the way you lie.
I was gonna do I Will Not Bow, Breaking Benjamin,
Okay.
which is a big rocker.
So they swayed you away from that.
Even before I walked into the room, they knew they were going to sway me. It was pointless to sing the song for Jimmy in the first place, because before he even started, he said, I need to talk to you about something after you sing your song. So I think that gave it away. But, like you said, that was a good moment for me.
Let's talk a little bit about Bad Romance, which I really liked.
Good.
I was not necessarily on the bandwagon for Colton early on, but week after week, by the time you got to Love the Way You Lie and Bad Romance, I was like, I could see this guy in the top 2 or 3 and not have any issue with it. But I was interested to see you on Twitter a couple days after being like, I kind of picked the wrong song. This song's not really what I'm about.
We have to choose the song before Thursday.
Okay.
Of the week prior. So probably halfway through the week up until the performance, I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, okay, how is my Christian fan base going to react to me singing Lady Gaga?
Right.
There are some sites that say it's about something completely out there, and then there are others who say it's about what I interpret it about, which is wanting something you know is bad for you. And even with that, I think I could have chosen something that fits me a little better, just from what I've taken a stance for and who I've taken a stance for. So I think that confused audiences.
Projecting that out to the future of your career, I mean, do you sort of feel like there's maybe certain subject matter, bad relationship, things going wrong, or things getting a little dark that you just don't want to sing about?
It's not necessarily about things going dark, because we all hit rock bottom and we all hit dark places, but there needs to be some glimmer of hope in there. The future album is going to be definitely faith-based, but inspirational, encouraging songs. I'd like to take after Switchfoot. They haven't confined their music to just a church, but they've opened it up to anyone who wants to listen. You come and see a concert, I'm going to talk about God, and that's just the way it's going to be. But calling yourself a Christian artist, it automatically turns people off, and I understand that. I don't want to do that, because it's a ministry for me, Even if you're totally against God, whatever, I just want to encourage you.
Going into that top 7 redo week, you were one of 2 contestants who had never been in the bottom 3. What was your mind frame at that point? Were you thinking like, I've got a pretty good chance to win?
You like to think so, but at the same time, as soon as you think so, you can wave goodbye. Hello. Idol's fishy. It just is. Sometimes all of your little girl votes go to bed.
Final exams are starting to approach.
Right.
If their grades are going down, it might be time to do your homework instead of watching Colton on. Last question for you. We see a lot of different people come in. We see Jimmy, we see the judges, we see Tommy Hilfiger. It's interesting to see how different contestants react to it. Some people seem to be almost opposed to the idea of any input whatsoever. You seemed very open to it.
A lot of what Jimmy or Tommy or whoever else had to say, I turned off big time at first.
I'm a little worried about the hair.
But I realized, I was like, okay, this isn't going to get me anywhere. I hate that he immediately discredited it. If America sees me constantly turning off, and just me turning off in general, I'm not going to be able to expand, and I'm not going to be able to grow as an artist on the show. I was planning on doing something a little different anyway. I'd planned the blonde for a while, so I was like, okay, well, let's just do it and act like it was his idea to begin with and see what happens. And it worked out. But with Jimmy, we butted heads a lot. I know he knows his stuff, but at the same time, it was hard to relate to someone who I didn't feel like related to me very well. But I took the week I did Love the Way You Lie. I said, okay, this is a week that I can give in to what he's saying, because I really like the song that he's suggesting, and give it my all and see what happens.
Jimmy liked to perpetuate the Colton versus Phillip
He really did.
idea.
It's you against Phil. Let's cut the
We have said it a few times on our show, like, if you're going to say Jessica versus Holly, you have to say Colton versus Phillip. And I know Jimmy must watch this show intensely. I'm sure he gets his notes from it.
Yes.
I think you're behind Philip.
The Jimmy thing was weird at first between Phillip and I, but I mean, I get it, but I hate that he went there, if that makes sense. But I guess it wouldn't be a very exciting TV show without drama. The contestants, God bless their hearts, they're so set on this is a talent competition and being off the show. It's kind of like, nah, it's a TV show. So you just got to do what you can while being on a TV show.
And it plays into the whole are you and Skylar dating situation.
Right. Funny story real quick. So the night I got eliminated, we're not dating, but the night I got eliminated,
I would never ask you that anyway.
But Skylar walked up to me. She's like, well, I guess this means we break up now. It was priceless. I always remember us like pulling up a tweet or whatever of someone saying, you and Skylar Laine would make a cute couple, and I would just hand her the phone and she would just laugh,
Is it bizarre to be asked that by Ryan Seacrest in front of 20 million people?
Yes.
That's got to be weird.
It's weird, especially standing right next to the girl. It was kind of like, don't take offense to this, but no. The first couple days it was funny. Third day it started getting old, and 3 weeks later we're just kind of like, really?
Yeah.
I'm doing another cheesy country duet, like really? That fits me so well.